All right, you're 2 minutes after, so we will go ahead and get started. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Sorry, everybody, give me 1 second. There we go. All right, can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Great. All right. I now call the meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. Welcome to ANC 1EE's December General Body Meeting. A few administrative notes. Today's meeting is being recorded. Closed caption is available for each user by clicking on the button on the toolbar below. Please submit questions through the Q&A function, also located on the toolbar below. Commissioners will keep an eye on the Q&A throughout the evening. If you're calling in rather than participating through the web, you may raise your hand by dialing *9. I'll now ask Secretary Grant to please conduct the roll call.
Great. All right. Thank you so much. Commissioner Howard,
Present.
Commissioner Hawker,
Present.
Commissioner Brown,
Present.
Commissioner Newland,
Present.
Commissioner Jacobson, Commissioner Jacobson, Commissioner Footer.
Present.
All right. We've got 6 of 7.
Great. And I am just taking a quick look at the attendees to make sure Josh didn't, or Commissioner Jacobson didn't join us. All right. Thank you. We have a quorum and we can continue. So, per DC law, the ANC 1E meeting was noticed to the community via listserv, social media, website, and e-calendar. And now I'll move to approval of the agenda. So you can see my screen. The agenda tonight, under consent agenda, we have one item, which is approving the October meeting minutes. For community announcements, we have two special guests, and then our regular scheduled opportunities for government officials to provide updates. Under official business, under Zoning and Economic Development Committee, we have two resolutions. One is a BZA case, and one is regarding the bottle bill. Under Transportation and Public Space Committee, we have a resolution supporting the Columbia Heights Crosstown Bus Priority Project. And under Public Safety and Engagement Committee, we have a grant application. And then under ANC 1E Administrative Business, we have the 2025 calendar year annual report. With that, do any commissioners have any additions to the agenda? Yes, Commissioner Brown.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to include the resolution for the Crosstown uh, Priority Bus Lane Project with the curbside option number 1 to the agenda under official business in the Transportation and Public Space Committee. I know
So
Commissioner Jacobson and I are kind of merging resolutions, but I haven't seen it yet. But I would like for both to be up for discussion so that we can review it as a commission.
Commissioner Jacobson withdrew his resolution, and we're just
Oh,
considering yours.
oh, great. Okay, thank you.
Mhm. And I can update the title if you want it to reflect the exact piece, and I'll just do that really quickly.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Mhm. Oops. Sorry about that, everybody. Give me one quick second. Fix this. All right. Thank you for that. Any other edits, additions, Commissioner Howard?
Yeah, I was gonna ask about the statement that I want to send out on Pepco. Is that something that you would just kind of get, would we need to vote to let me do that and then send a draft around for one to review, or is that just something we do regularly outside of the meeting? I don't have the draft.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a thank you letter just acknowledging their hard work, and it's not an official action or position of the
Would be
commission, you,
be a public statement acknowledging, like, updating the community on how the situation was resolved and expressing gratitude to Pepco would be like a few sentences.
I mean, you can do that. I would say like we would have to see the
Yeah.
language and review it and approve it tonight. So we couldn't approve the concept and then for you to go write it, we'd have to see it and adopt it as is tonight. So you can't make edits after it's been adopted.
Um, okay. Then I mean,
So if you
just
want to,
we can put in
if
a
you
new
want,
business, and I'll have it done by then.
sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
So if I'm understanding you correctly,
Put
we will
statement
do
on.
other movements.
So Chairman Footer, are we
Mhm.
amending the agenda to consider writing the letter, or how is the agenda being amended, if at all,
Well,
to accommodate consideration of the letter?
Can you can
What's
you
the
see
request, I guess?
it'll
can you
be
see the screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
So I'm just
Thank you.
adding a new thing under other business, approve
Very clear.
statement thanking Pepco. Mhm.
Thank you.
Mhm. Commissioner Howard, thanking Pepco for
uh
addressing community
in-
concern.
infrastructure upgrade.
I'm sorry, say that again one more time.
Infrastructure upgrade now.
Is that
Yep. Thank you.
great? Okay. Any other additions, edits to the agenda?
Move to approve.
All right. There is a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
All right. We have a motion. It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of approving the December agenda as amended, please signify by saying aye.
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 I
All those opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Hearing none, the ayes have it, and the motion is adopted, and the agenda is approved. All right. Thank you, everybody. We will now move on to the consent agenda. Um, just a reminder, all matters listed under consent are considered by the commission to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. Any commissioner may, however, remove an item from the consent agenda by request. The consent agenda tonight is just the approval of the October ANC meeting. And so are there any items within the consent agenda that commissioners wish to move to official business? Um, I'm going to just promote, I think two commissioners are in the. All right, hearing none, I'll now accept a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
move by unanimous consent to adopt the consent agenda.
Is there any dissent? All right. Hearing none, motion passes and the consent agenda is approved. All right, now moving on to community announcements. Commissioners and members of the community can use this time to make public announcements, distribute information, or alert the community about issues. We'll start with two special guests this evening. First is Department of Public Works with Miss Nikki West and Mr. Donnell Pringle. And then we will move to Chief David Taylor with Howard University as the new Chief of Police and Executive Director of Public Safety. They will have 5 minutes to present, then take questions from commissioners and the public. After our special guests, we'll move to commissioners, then to Councilmember Brianna Doe's office, and then the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services, also known as MOKers. Then members of the public. All speakers will have 3 minutes. If you are here to speak on an issue or topic under official business, please hold until we get to that agenda item later in the meeting. And with that, I will promote Miss West and Mr. Pringle. I'm just looking and see Mr. West. Boop, boop. All right. Mr. West, you should be able to speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, how you doing?
Oh, Miss West, I apologize.
Yes, no, it's all
So
right.
sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. So I'm here. I do not have a presentation. I didn't know there was a presentation. I was here to answer any questions, comments, or concerns that may arise. Donnell Pringle is the Associate Administrator of the Trash and Recycling Collection. I am the administrator over the Solid Waste Division in its entirety. So if there's any questions, comments, or concerns, then I'm here to answer. I know that there has been some issues about miscollections and things like that, but I'm definitely here to answer any questions that may arise, or either we can, if there's answers that I don't have, I will then table them and get them back to you.
Okay. Commissioner Grant, this is one of your phenomenal ideas. Do you want to maybe take a minute and express some of the community concerns and then start with some questions?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks so much, Chairman Footer, and thank you very much, Ms. Warnick, for being here tonight. We're really eager to hear from you. We know that you've been responsive to a myriad of requests over the recent months, so I appreciate your participation in tonight's meeting. This has been a really important issue for our community, given the environmental and health implications, and also the impacts on beautification. So again, we're very eager to hear from you. And I think um, there are probably several core questions that are top of mind for me and probably a number of the residents that are on the call tonight. But I guess if you can give us, some idea of why the collection has been so uneven, that would just go a long way, for helping us understand what's going on. So if you could give us some detail as to why that's been happening and what DPW is doing to resolve those challenges, that would be really helpful to start.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one, I want to express my, my depths of sympathy to, and apologize for your trash not being collected. Believe me, I am not just a employee of the District of Columbia. I am also a resident, so I am also experiencing some of these miscollections. Not as much as Ward 1 as my trash is collected in the front and more so not the alleys. But what's going on is that one of the issues is that we have a aging workforce, right? And we have this, well, even before the aging workforce, we have numerous of alleys in the district that are small, and our 16-yard packers are unable to fit into these alleys. Some of them, the alleys is just tight, and we have new drivers and things like that who are unable to maneuver through through those alleys. Some of them are tight because of new construction and the infrastructure has changed within the alleys. So what we did is we are re-optimizing the route. So a lot of the smaller alleys, well, not a lot of them, all the smaller alleys have been taken off of the routes that had 16-yard packers in it, and we're giving them to 8-yard packers. The problem with that is that they now have to learn these routes. So when we're re-optimizing the routes, it's just like if you were building a house. You know, you can start out with a blueprint on what you want to build, but when you get out there to the foundation, things may change, and then you have to change some things, move some things around. And so that's been kind of going on. So I started out looking at re-optimizing these routes as they have not been re-optimized in over 10 to 15 years. I mean, I've been with the agency now for 25 years. And I can only remember one time that they re-optimized the route. So we're working to get through that. And we started out with these small alleys. The majority of these small alleys tend to fall in wards 1, some into, I think we may have only a couple, maybe 2 or 3 that are in Ward 3, and then we have a lot of other ones that are also in Ward 6. And so what's happening with that, like I said, we re-optimizing that, we're changing that, and then we'll get to the re-optimization of the larger routes. So with that being said, so I'm budgeted for a total staff of 279 people. However, on any given day, right, my maximum available after I take out my supervisors and administrators, if I take out the positions I had that were in vacancy savings, I also have 42 people that are on a protected leave status. They're in either an FMLA or a paid family leave status. And so which means they're still holding their positions. It's not like I can rehire for those positions because they're actually in them. So again, that leaves me with a maximum available of 190 people. And that's before you take out anybody who have scheduled leave or unscheduled leave. And on my lowest days of routes, when I'm picking up trash, recycling, and all the other bulk complaints, dead animals, and a small truck, I need 206 people. So on any given day, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna have that. I'm already kind of short. But then to topple that, when we talk about my people that's available, I didn't have an aging workforce. Over 68% of my staff inside of my trash and recycling division is over the age of 50. Now, I'm not saying that 50 is old or they should not be working. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that because this work is physically demanding, the older employees face a higher risk of injury and health issues, right? Which leads to me having people on workman's comp, higher absenteeism. It also increases the different people I have on medical restrictions or light duty assignments. And so also it also happens where these staff that get hurt, they don't always recover as quickly as I would like, right? And so when I talk about this aging workforce, I mean I have 13 employees that's over the age of 66 with one employee that is 79 years old, right? And it isn't like, I mean, I am compassionate and there are rules and things that we have to follow our collective bargaining agreement. I can't just push these people out of the door. And it's not that they're not working, they just not may work as fast. And so when I get to looking at my routes, I have some routes where one truck is touching almost 1,600 households on one route, right? Um, some of them are touching just under 1,500 at 1,480. So I'm trying to even these routes out so that one, I can accommodate not just the residents, but also make sure that I'm trying to keep these staff at work. And so during some of my high peak seasons, like when it's in the summertime, it's easy for me to have 20, 30 people out on heat exhaustion, right? Or even in the winter months when they're getting sick and they're having colds and things like that, and they're not here. So I'm having that issue, but we're trying to work through it with this re-optimization. And so what's happening is that in your particular ward in Ward 1, there are a lot of small alleys that the trucks can't get into. And so we have been having some difficulties. I did have new employees that started on October the 8th. I had 24 new staff that started in, and they were given those small alley routes, and then the supervisors for that started the following pay period. And so they all are getting acclimated to these new routes and things like that. However, I have been putting the quality insurance on with the managers to ensuring that, hey, you guys have been here. I need you to hold their hands. I need you to walk them through it. It is unacceptable that people's trash is not getting collected. And unfortunately, um, because I live alone, I don't have a lot of trash. I have a super can. I didn't notice that my trash hadn't been collected for 2 weeks because I'm at work. I mean, like now I'm still in my office and I hadn't really noticed it. But when I did notice it, I was like, hey, my route didn't get collected. Um, and I was wondering why some of my neighbors' trash was running over. I was like, we didn't get our trash collected. And so, it was kind of disheartening to me. But again, I understand it, but I also understand the physical demand that is on our staff. So when we have these routes that we're down and we start out the gate with routes that are delayed, it is hard sometimes to get people to work overtime. Overtime is something they have to volunteer to do. So once they finish their route, they are task employees. So once they come in, they finish their route, their day is over. They are a part of a union, and so they have the right to volunteer to do the overtime, and then sometimes they don't. And that's what's been happening. I haven't been having as many people wanting to do the overtime as in years before. But again, I did ask to take some positions out of our vacancy savings that has been there for some times. It didn't used to affect us in prior years like this. But as I said, as my staff is beginning to get older and things like that, it is beginning to affect us much more. So I have a follow-up meeting to find out how much of these vacancy savings I'm going to be able to hire for, along with me asking for additional money to hire additional staff, even though that, I have the allotted staff that I'm budgeted for outside of the vacancy savings, but I'm going to need more than that in order for me to to balance out and even out the people that I not only have in protected leave status, but also of this aging workforce.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Ms.
so
West. I do want to
much.
open it. Yeah, continue, Commissioner Grant.
No, I was just thinking.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for Ms. West? Yes, Commissioner Hawker.
Miss West, thank you so much for this information. I'm curious to know what can we as the ANC do, especially in terms of advocacy with those who hold the purse strings. What can we do to help this situation? Because our ANC is one that is impacted every single trash collection. It is always delayed, sometimes missed, and it's something that I think everyone here is extremely sensitive to the
Yes.
fact that this job is difficult, dangerous, and hard to just staff. So, what can we do that would help your department?
So one thing that I ask for, is kind of some patience, right? As I do see, I know that folks are in residence, we're all used to, and I can say like my mom. My mom is used to seeing her trash person at 9 o'clock in the morning, right? She's at home all day. She's at 9 o'clock in the morning. If she don't see her trash man by 10 o'clock, she called me. Oh, they missed my trash. I said, Mom, they didn't miss your trash. It's only 10 a.m. in the morning. The actual duty day is not over until 3:15. So sometimes we get a barrage of miscollections at 12 noon in the day when the staff actually has the 3:15. And as I said, sometimes, we have overtime coming. So sometimes you can see my staff. I'm not sure if there's anyone on this call that has reached out to me and I've had their trash picked up and it's 8, 9 o'clock at night. Right. And they're picking up trash. And sometimes people will come home because they don't see their trash picked up at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, they then move their trash back into their yard or back into their garage or things like that when as though the truck is still coming around. So we do send out a daily email, not just it comes to me from Donnell Pringle and his staff. It comes to me. It also goes to our comms department who push it out to the ANCs who push out the emails. And I know that as ANCs, you guys get a lot of emails and it can get lost in there. But that is how I know what areas is affected and what we're going to get to. And so I even know like today, I know that I have 1 second. I think I have 2.5 routes that were going to be carried over to tomorrow. So as I'm looking, let me see 1 second. Okay, so as we closed out today, um I know that in Columbia Heights and Pleasant Plains, we have that crew is still out working on a carryover route from Tuesday. I know that the recycling up in the Howard University area, this crew was still out working, and that was at 4 o'clock this evening. They were still out doing that route. So I know these things. I know that I have several routes in Ward 4, several routes in Ward 5, and I know the neighborhood and area of the community that it is. Well, I know the ANC. So for the routes about the Columbia Heights, that was in ANC 1A and part of 1B, and then the Howard University Recycle was in 1B. So I do know that, and we do push that out. Randy Thorpe is on the line, so we normally, like I said, push that out. And we know. So all I ask is that when those type of things do come out, that the ANCs is letting the residents know, hey, DPW has alerted us that it did not get collected, and they'll be collected first thing in the morning. So what happened is that those routes that carry over, those are normally the routes that we give out first before we go to the following day route.
That's great, and I look forward to being able to explain that to folks. I've collected like about 10 emails from constituents and people on Facebook who know that the ANCs are receiving these updates. So I'm able to push those out to the folks who are interested, but to be able to explain patience, hey, don't put it away. Wait until time. Check your email at 4 p.m. as well. See if it was delayed or not. This is really helpful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, no, no, no problem. Listen, this is a partnership, and I appreciate anybody who's on who has reached out to me. I am very responsive. I am the one who's going to respond to you. Sometimes people may see responses from me at 10, 11 o'clock at night. I had a resident sending out an email at 10 o'clock, and she was surprised that I responded back. And at 10 something at night, I am constantly watching that, and just like I'm not sure if there's anyone on the call that has any collections that happens on Friday, as we're expecting a snowstorm to come in. The district, we don't have the resources to salt alleys and things like that. So that becomes a challenge for people whose trash is collected in the alley because one, those trash trucks are not made like dump trucks. They're not made like four-wheel drive vehicles. So it isn't that they can just maneuver. If they get in those alleys and slip or slide, they're going to slide into somebody's property. And that we do not want. We don't want to damage anyone's property. We don't want to damage our staff. We don't want to damage any or hurt any residents or, like I said, even hurt our staff. So with that, we have to proceed with caution.
Commissioner Howard, you're on mute if you are speaking.
And one more thing before we go to Commissioner Howard, I just want to also say everyone can subscribe to the My DPW app to receive notifications about carryover routes as well. I encourage, if you can, encourage residents to download this app to also get notifications.
That's really helpful to know. And before Commissioner Howard goes, that was I'm watching the Q&A, and that was something that an anonymous attendee had written in if there was a way for either the ANC to notify residents by collecting or can share this somewhere, or if there's something online where that post could be obtained. It sounds like you're saying that residents, community members can download the DPW app and those announcements of what routes are going to be impacted is posted daily.
Yes, Brian. What I can do, I can have Miss Thorpe send that over to you, and you can disperse out to all of the ANCs if you would like.
That'd be great. And just for clarification, because we have a number of people who are here from the community, people can download the app just on if they go to your website or if they go to the App Store. Um, it's just available there. Is it like BCDPW or something like that?
I think, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna have Randy Thorpe send that over. I don't kind of do all the technical part. I'm the one that's trying to get the work done. So I apologize for not knowing exactly how that is done. So and clearly, as I told you, my trash was missing. I didn't
Mhm.
even realize it. So I don't have the app myself. But I am
Fair.
gonna make sure that I give my cell phone to our IT department between today and tomorrow to get it downloaded for me so I can be more well versed on that.
Commissioner Howard, can we post as an announcement or something on our website on the homepage, just the instructions on how to obtain the app?
Good idea.
Yep,
Thank you. And
absolutely.
Commissioner Howard, please continue. Your question.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Grant, for the idea and putting this together. And Ms. West, thanks for everything you're doing. And particular shout out to Randy Thorpe, who is amazing and responsive to each one of us. We are grateful to have her there. And so I want to start off there. I hear you on your the staffing challenges that you have, and of course, money and resources is always a challenge with city governments. There's a few things that I just wanted to. I didn't know if you had any insight on that we're hearing from like our constituents. And so there's been, for instance, like lots of videos of trucks driving by and not servicing bins. I don't know what that's about. I've just seen some reports there. There has been, I think um, when recycling is kind of left behind, trash gets out on the street, then it's just kind of left around the street and not cleaned up there. I think another issue that is particularly frustrating to constituents has been the 311 ticket requests getting dismissed without actually servicing the ticket request. And so I think those are kind of the three things that I did the same thing Commissioner Hawker did, put together some emails. I think those are the three things that's kind of confusing to folks that's not tied to, age of the workforce, et cetera.
Okay, Brad. So you're gonna walk me back. We're gonna
Yep.
go through them one by one. So the first one you said, the videos, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you get the videos straight to either Randy or me, right?
Okay.
Let me see what's going on. And part of this challenge is that so when we were creating these small truck routes, I had to also take some of the regular alleys and put it in because if not, the small alleys alone would not have been enough of a day's work, right? And so what was happening is that when a part of re-optimizing these routes, reorganizing these routes, taking off the small alleys, I did not want to change the point of collection for the resident or the days of collection for the residents. So with that being said, I may have had an area that if I only took off the small alleys, then that truck would only have 2 hours of work. And now they're going to get paid for 8 hours for only 2 hours of work. No, so I'm going to take off a few more of the bigger size alleys. So you may have seen it could be, and this could be the case, it can be a possibility of a truck that rolled down and didn't realize, and then they realized, oh, this is not our alley, this is somebody else's alley. So they then roll past, right? But if someone sent me that video, I am able, one, to look at the video, identify the truck by the tag or the numbers on the door. And I'm also, if I'm unable to see that, I'm also, because of the time that they tell me the truck was there on the video and the location, I'm able to pull our automated vehicle tracking, our automated vehicle locator that's on the truck to tell me what truck that was and what happened. And if it indeed was a truck that rolled down that alley and did not collect it and they were supposed to, then I'm going to discipline them accordingly, right? I've put some things in place with not just the drivers and the supervisors of ensuring that they do what they're supposed to do. So there are some checks and balances that is going into effect immediately. It is a change to how things have been being done. So I had a meeting with their union president and letting them know, hey, this is the route that we're going. I understand past practices may wasn't this, but right now in the situation that I am in, this is what I have to do. So Miss Trash and Miss Recycling is what keeps me up at night.
Yeah, and I'll add too, I think a particular issue on Manor Place has been the construction. They just kind of skip the pickup when they since construction. Sometimes, as Randy has told me, that they're not communicating to you all that they're going to tear up a street, and so you're not able to respond immediately.
And
So
so and
I gather that and I appreciate and understand that. So
Yeah, and so what happened is, like I said, it's two different agencies, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
DDOT, it's DPW, and we don't know. And unfortunately, our union contract does not state that the technicians have to walk in the alley through construction to bring out trash bins. So that's where the hardship comes in, right? And so when our drivers and techs see the construction in there, they're like, "Oh nope, we can't go in that alley. We got to go," right? And so
yeah.
now, and so I just got an email after talking with my director along with the DDOT director, and I raised this issue. And so now we are getting a better, like I just got an email, myself and Donnell, about an alley that's going to get construction next year, right? But we're starting that process. But it has never been a thing where we knew in advance. We just would get there and we'll find out from the driver there's construction. And then we may reach out and say, hey, can the residents bring the trash to the alley or can they put it in the front? And some residents are telling us we're unable to do that. We can't even get in the alley, right? And we're not going to drag this trash through our homes. And so it's a challenge for both of us, but we are definitely trying to find a way to work through this. And with the communication that's starting off early on, we're going to be able to work through this and find ways and at least be able to give residents a heads up and saying, hey, you have construction that's going to be done in your alley 2 months from now. We need to find a way of maybe changing the point of collection, and maybe we can have meetings like this with the ANCs and bring this up and try to find great solutions, not just what DPW thinks is right or not just what the residents think is right, but that's something that we collectively come up with.
I think that's a phenomenal idea and highly endorsed.
Thank you.
Mm.
Okay, we got
Commissioner
one more
Jacob.
thing.
The second was the 311 ticket closures, which may not necessarily. I don't know who's doing the closing, but a
So
lot
what?
of
So if it's a 311 request on a route that we know was delayed, right, and we know it got carried over, yes, it most likely just get automatically closed out because we know we didn't collect it and we're going to it the next day.
is there a way to communicate that? I think it never gets communicated to constituents that like they were heard and that it's they're seeing it as like dismissed.
So and I guess for me, and I'll take this one because we figured that since we're pushing it out today and sees that this route was missed and that we're going to get it, we're thinking that maybe they know, and I get it that they're not because they're looking for a response. So I will talk with my staff and figure out that we can get with that dismissal, if we can get a message generated that yes, we know it was missed, it was carried over from yesterday, and we're in the process of collecting today. So I'll see what we can do to get some type of generic messaging that can go out with that.
That is another great idea you have that I endorse. I think what's happening is they're seeing their ticket requests closed, their trash still out there, and they're immediately emailing us, and y'all are coming behind in a few hours and getting it. And I think that seems like a simple solution there to me.
And it's not, you know what? It's crazy because just like you said, sometimes they are sending the email and you do have some people who come back and say, they'll respond like when the chain emails I'm on, they'll come back and respond and say, oh, my trash was just collected. And we have some who don't say anything. And, we still get the hit one way or another, right? Sometimes we get a few nice comments, sometimes we don't, but that's all part of being a public servant.
Amen.
I do on this train of thought really quickly. I'm sorry, just looking at the Q&A. It sounds like there is a resident who has had an experience where their 311 request was closed, but there was no pickup. So I think it may warrant a little bit of investigation as well of like how some of the tickets are being assessed and then closed out. And thank you for offering to look into what the communication can be in how they close it out and articulating it too. But I don't want to dismiss it. There are some experiences community members are having where it's being closed without any thing happening.
And absolutely, right. I just had a meeting today as I was telling my associate administrator Donnell and his two deputies in reference to this, that it's one thing when I get a complaint about, the whole alley being missed, right? And I know that the
Mm.
truck did not go down. I'm expecting um paperwork or discipline to be given to the entire crew. However, if I get an email from a resident and the supervisor has not made us aware that that was missed or that he had anything, then that paperwork goes to that supervisor, right? Now, it's the one-offs where sometimes I have people who send in service requests and the whole alley has been collected, but just one resident hasn't collected. I mean, it wasn't, trash wasn't collected. And so it's the one-offs and things like that. But again, I'm taking full responsibility. I don't think that there are situations where at times we have not missed it because I know that we have. Again, I've been around long enough where I know that there's also situations where someone just was late putting out the trash, right? Or they
Mhm.
didn't put it out at time. So it happens, but again, I'm here to work it out either way. Whether it was our fault or it was the residents' fault, either way, I'm gonna find a way to get it out.
Thank you. And I apologize, but we do have a very lengthy agenda for this evening, and I want to move things along. And so, Commissioner Jacobson, you'll be our last question from commissioners, and then we'll go to community members.
Thank you, Chair Footer. And can you hear me all right? Is there too much background noise? Okay, great. Um, I guess to the point about just showing residents when there are issues, can we get like more specifics about the routes posted online? Because I see that it says, Columbia Heights / Pleasant Plains, but sometimes when I see that that route hasn't been picked up, my trash has been picked up, and I live in Pleasant Plains, so I feel like maybe there's a disconnect between like the geographical area and what the route says. And if we could just get the route posted online, it would be easier for residents to figure out if their route is affected if they're subscribed to those notifications.
Um, Let me see. Let me work on it. So I will say this. If I'm able to do that, it will be after I'm finished the re-optimization. Because remember, like I said, I'm in the process of even re-optimizing the big truck routes. So it will have to be after I finish. I wouldn't want to post routes right now, and then those routes are going to change because I have a meeting tomorrow to kind of see where we are with the routes and see what kind of adjustments we need to make with a hope that I'm going to roll out these new routes in the beginning of the new year.
That's totally fair. And I guess the other thing that I think is important to note, just like ANCs and being able to do this notification, at the end of the day, we are just a bunch of volunteers that are doing the best that we can, and expecting us to be able to notify, every single resident that might be affected by a trash pickup isn't really feasible because, there might be some that have their contact info, but there are going to be a lot that I don't have their contact info. And they're going to be just as frustrated. And even the ones that I do have their contact info, sometimes I'm working late and I just am not going to see it. And so I won't be able to respond. And I know there's some ANCs that, are district government employees, so they're not going to be able to push out any sort of message during the working day. And so I think it's just like important to keep that in mind that we're never going to be a really good solution because it's a set of all volunteers, and it'd be better just to communicate directly with residents.
Or if I can build off that, if maybe even DPW can put it on their website, and so people can go to your website proactively. You clearly have the information, you're pushing it out anyway. If you put it on your website, then people can go to it themselves.
So, hey, Brian, can you unmute Randy Thorpe? Randy, are you on?
Sure.
And then because she can add some of that stuff too, because she pushes out the comms. But the listservs are also something that we generate and push out the information to. But Randy can give more information to that on how the messaging is pushed out.
Can you guys
Randy,
hear
you
me?
should be able to. Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, so as Nikki stated, the communications team, we receive information from her operations team regarding the delays and or carryover routes for the day. And I personally am the one who sends them out to any affected ANC commissioner. And it's to my understanding that you all have like some type of list serve where your constituents receive information from you all.
Oh,
Um,
so Randy, when I said that some I can send it to some people, here's the current situation. I saw people complaining on Facebook and Nextdoor, and I had to message them personally, get their personal email, and then set up an email rule and create my own listserv. And so I think what Commissioner Jacobson is trying to communicate here is that it would be much more efficient if I could go around and tell people, hey, it's updated every day on DPW's website, rather than, like Commissioner Jacobson pointed out, me having to go find people, get their contact info, put the contact info together, set up the email rule, make sure it's working. It's a lot of extra steps, whereas it would be much easier for the commissioners to say, hey, this information is available every single day. If you have a question, here it is. And I think that is the struggle right now. I can kind of keep doing this, but it's not a great long-term solution, especially for people who maybe don't want to give me their emails because I'm just some stranger who's telling them that I'm an elected official. And I'm definitely not going to spam you. But it would be much easier to push people to, hey, they update this every day publicly on the website. I think that would
okay.
be maybe a little easier than having us have to go person by person, grabbing this info and pushing it out, sort of like third hand.
So, as far as my standpoint, or from a communication standpoint, I don't know if that will be feasible for us to update our website every single day, regarding, a delayed route. And that's why, when, as Nikki stated earlier, we strongly encourage residents to download, our My DPW app. Um, because not only does that app, I put in the carryover route information. Residents can also receive leaf collection information. They can receive snow information. Like the My DPW app is the go-to to receive all
Oh,
things
I see.
DPW. Yes,
So
ma'am.
so in that, like, this is also, it would this be like where we would also be able to put delay notifications, like the
Actually
route
gonna
has been
have
delayed?
to, yeah, I'm gonna have to see if I can get in contact with our IT personnel to see if that is feasible because, I decided and I took it upon myself to say, hey, you know what? As in regard to a carryover route, I think that an email isn't efficient enough, right?
Hmm.
And I do communicate with our social media manager, and he does, like, if it's a significant amount of delays, we will post that online. Now,
Gotcha.
it won't be it won't be like route ABC 123. However, it would be like residents in the Columbia Heights neighborhood or the Pleasant Plains neighborhood, something to that effect. So it won't be
Gotcha.
like a specific route. However, like I stated, I felt as though with the delays and sometimes, we do have carryovers. I took it upon myself to say, you know what, let me at least try to alert the residents that are subscribed to our app so they will receive a notification that we're not coming today, but we're coming first thing in the morning.
Gotcha.
And
Okay, so that's something super helpful for us to know.
yeah,
Even if you can't repost the chart that comes to the ANC emails onto the
hmm
website, just knowing
hmm
that even some of that information, instead of trying to cajole emails out of people, just
right,
being able to say, hey, if you get on the app, you can get some of this information is
right,
really helpful. So thank you for giving us
Can
that bit of detail.
right. And no
can
problem.
I just
And
clarify,
again,
Randy? I'm so sorry.
I'm
Can I
sorry,
just
say again.
clarify? Because one of the people in our attendees is messaging that they downloaded the app right now and is saying that there's not a clear way that or it's not being expressed in a clear way that that's information that's going to be pushed out. So I just want to clarify: are you saying that when um, DPW finds it relevant, they will push that notification out through the app, but it's not a given. It's not a regular thing.
No, I'm saying when I get notification that there are going to be routes that are carrying over to the next day, whether it be recycling or trash, I send that out to the resident, to the um so how it looks, like I don't have my computer up to show you, but how it looks is it'll show the specific route number. So if it's a recycling route, and I'm just gonna throw a number out there, it may say R 103-2, right? So what I would do is draft a message to say, um, recycling collection will carry over to today's Wednesday to Thursday, 12/04/25 collection. First thing in the morning, please leave your containers out, or please have your containers out, right? And then it's a drop down box that has a list of all of the routes. And I would just click that specific route and it'll be sent to the resident who lives on that route. Because I don't know what it looks like on you guys' end when you download the app, like if you have to put in a specific neighborhood or route or what have you, and I can reach out to my colleague who works in IT and get this information. But what I do is I specifically send it to that specific route, and it goes to those residents who live on that route, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. So if you don't live on that route, you couldn't go into the app and just be like, hey, I want to see what routes are being impacted today. You will only be informed of that information if you were directly impacted, and it would be a notice to you
Vacation,
specifically.
yes, to you. Yep, yep.
Okay.
And
Um,
again, I can have this conversation with my colleague that works in IT who works with our app developer to find out this information if that is um a feature that's available on the app, and I can follow up with you. I'm not really that tech savvy, so I would definitely have to reach out to them just to see what other capabilities we do have regarding the app and what it can do as far as the notifications that it pushes. And I will also um, reach out to our web designer and just see if, hey, you can post the chart that I send you all, if you can post that on the website every day as well.
I'm gonna move this along because we're getting close to about 8 o'clock. And now we're gonna move to the community members. And I see Brittany Lehman. So Brittany, I'm gonna bring you off of or allow you to talk. And before, as you're coming online, members of the community, if you have any questions or you'd like to speak, please raise your hand and we'll take it in the order that we receive it. So Brittany, you should be able to speak now.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much. And thank you, Miss West and Randy. You both have helped me tremendously in the last month or so. I'm wondering, and thank you for the information on the app and clarifying that. But I'm wondering if there's any consideration of when you know you're particularly short-staffed and you have six people out on FMLA and all of these other things, if you're looking at the week and saying there's just no way we're going to do this, and cutting the collection to one instead of two so that we can be more proactive and intentional. Because the thing that drives me nuts isn't actually having my trash collection missed. It's that I put my trash out to get collected and now it's become a feast for the rats. And so if I knew not to put my trash out and to hold it in the house until the next collection, I would be fine with that. I just don't want trash sitting on the streets because we're trying to reach an unattainable goal with the resources that we have.
So thank you, Brittany, for that. So I that hadn't been considered. The thing is that, I can't just say we're gonna cut it and not get it, because even though I appreciate what you're saying, I can't say that everyone would be as amenable to that and say, hey, you know what? We're fine with just getting once a week. I mean, where I live, I only get once a week collection. And your recycling, I think your recycling is the once a week collection. It's the trash that's twice a week, correct?
Right, but as you well know, Miss West, we went over 3 weeks in November with no collections at all.
Yeah,
So if the choices are no collection or once a week, I think everyone could swallow it.
yeah, no, and listen, and let me tell you something. And I think Brittany, I think did me and you talk? Did me and you talk?
Yeah, we
Okay,
did.
right. And so let me tell you, your route is one of them routes that was made into this other route, right? Hopefully that has not been happening since we have talked. And we got that taken care of. But no, believe me, I wish I could have where everyone was a once a week collection, and just make that the thing, right? And give everyone super cans, but I don't think super cans will work for every alley and in every neighborhood. But we had not did that before. I will take that down as a note, and propose it. But again, sometimes I can accommodate one person and I'm not accommodating everyone else. And
Understood.
say, hey, that may be what Brittany wants, but that isn't what I want. So,
I understand, Miss
but I
West.
appreciate that, Brittany.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you for your help. We have had 3 successful collections in a row, so we're very happy about that.
Listen, I'm gonna give it a little clap, but I mean, I am very nice, but I can be very stern when need be. And so, everybody want to keep their job, but I want to, because this is trust me, for everyone on this call, trash and snow. And if no one doesn't know, I am also the citywide snow coordinator. So trash and snow is the easiest way for me to lose my job. And so this is what keeps me up at night.
All
So
right. I
take pride in getting your
believe,
trash out.
thank you so much. I believe there are no other questions from members of the community. So I'll
I
ask one more
think
time. Is there
Zondi Bears.
Zombie
Who is
Bears
this?
is with
No, is that
the
somebody else?
Howard University. Can
Oh,
you
I'm
guys hear
sorry.
me okay?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Zandi's with Howard University, so she's next.
Thank you.
Um,
Commissioner Frederick, if there are no more questions from the community, can I ask just 2 very quick questions? Promise, very
yes.
quick. Thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you so much. Ms. West, I just want to ask a question I think that's relevant for all the words. I see with leaf collection, if I can move this to a slightly different topic. Yes. Neighbors are storing their leaves or putting their leaves in plastic bags as opposed to paper bags. Will they be picked up if they are in plastic bags?
Oh my, they're not supposed to, right? What will happen is they will not be picked up by the packers. What's going to happen is that when that leaf vac comes back around, they're going to have to empty those leaves onto the piles that they make in the street and then suck them up that way and then take those trash bags and dispose of them differently. The supervisor will have to take those trash bags and put into their trash, I mean their truck to then take separately, but we cannot collect them with the leaves.
I'm sorry. So the neighbors should take them out of the plastic bags, or the supervisors will take them out of
Oh,
the what
so
do you recommend? I mean,
so
honestly, if the
listen,
neighbors should take them out,
so let's say if they want to get those bags collected immediately, I would say take them out and put them in brown paper bags. If not, as we all know, there should be schedules out telling you when the leaf collection will come back through your neighborhood again. What will happen is that when that leaf bags come through your neighborhood again or come through there on whichever time, whether it's the first cycle or the second cycle, we're now in our C section. We have already been in section A and B. So
mm,
unless you're in section C or D and we're getting to you, then what will happen is that when the crew get there, they will empty those bags out in the street and suck them up with the rest of the leaves. If not, they will have to wait to the next cycle. So my suggestion would be, if we've already been past you, to get those bags and get them into brown paper bags, put in a service request that you have bags of leaves, and then that will generate a service request for us to come out and come get them. If not, it can be a quite some time process before we get back around to you with
gotcha.
it. Like for instance, right now we have an upcoming snow, so the same staff that collects leaves are also a part of snow. So like this snow is happening on Friday. We will lose a leaf collection day tomorrow. It'll be very light as we have to prep to get ready for Friday. And then we'll lose Saturday also because we're trying to come out of the snow and get our equipment back together for Monday.
Gotcha. Okay, and my second very quick question is the corner of Water Street Northwest and Park Road Northwest is a nightmare in terms of just dumping. People just dump trash, computers, furniture, lots and lots and lots of trash, especially after Thanksgiving. I see DDOT is here. Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Is it possible to get a camera put somewhere on a building on that corner if there isn't one already? And also
I'm
identify that
so
as a
sorry.
hotspot.
I'm actually going to step. That's a really large question, and I think that's going
Okay,
to be a large conversation. So let's do this. Let's refer that to the Transportation Committee. And during
that's
the
fine.
January meeting, let's invite DPW and the and DDOT to come, and you guys can have a further conversation around that. With
Sounds
that,
great.
we're about an hour in, and I want to be respectful. We haven't even gotten to any of our business, and we have some pretty meaty things we're going to discuss. And I want to make sure we don't have a 10 o'clock like
Right.
meeting, and we have a lot of people who are here. So in the future, when commissioners, I'm talking to you directly. In the future, when we want to invite guests again, I'm going to be a little bit more diligent in trying to refer them to committees because this is such an excellent conversation, and I feel bad that we have to cut it off. But we really need to have this length and in-depth conversation at the committee level because that's what the committees are for. And it's a great opportunity that we should be inviting our community members to come to our committee meetings, which I know has been a little bit of a stretch in the past. So moving forward, please let's have these conversations at the committee level and let's make them super robust and in depth, and it'll be a better use of everyone's time. Um,
Hey,
yes, Miss West.
hey, Brian, I just want to know if you don't have any more questions for DPW, only because I got to get ready for this snow. And again, I'm a snow coordinator. I have some other things I have to do. Can I drop
Yeah.
off? And then if there's any other questions you can forward them over to Randy and she'll get them to me.
Yes, absolutely. And I think Ms. Thorpe, you can drop too. I'm going to cut off the conversation with respect to this
Okay.
agenda item
Thank
now.
you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you
Thank
guys.
you.
Have a good
Yeah,
night.
thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Have a good one.
Thank you. All right. Next, we are going to move to sorry, the agenda to Chief David Taylor. So, Chief Taylor. All right. Chief Taylor, you should be able to speak. And can you hear us?
Yes. Yes, I can.
Perfect. And Chief Taylor should Zandi Beers is on your staff, correct? Should I promote them as well?
Yes, she was my troubleshooting assistant
Great.
tonight.
I
But yeah, she's with us here at our HU.
Perfect. All right. Chief, the floor is yours.
I just wanted to thank you guys for having me. I'm David Taylor. I'm the not so new chief here at Howard University. Been here now almost well, 3.5 months, roughly. Having said that, we're doing some good things here at Howard. As you guys very well know, Howard literally is a city within the city. But again, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here engaging with you all. Department of Public Safety, we work in partnership with the university community to enhance safety, the quality of life through effective law enforcement for our students, staff, faculty, and the community as a whole through our effective law enforcement and proactive crime prevention. Now, having said that, we're fully engaged as a law enforcement agency, and this is just one additional example of just that. We're looking to improve upon our engagement piece, external engagement, and that's something that I'm very familiar with. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but I'm a 30 plus year law enforcement professional. I retired from MPD. I was the 6th district commander. So I'm used to engaging and listening to you guys advocate on behalf of your community. So again, I'm happy to be here. I don't want to take too much of your time, but if you guys have any questions for me, also I wanted to say I'm not new to the 3rd district either. I was born here. I was born at 1900 3rd Street and had the benefit, the good fortune of actually coming back here as a supervisor just a few years ago at the 3rd District. So again, I'm very familiar with many of the dynamics. And if you guys have any questions for me, I am available until you cut me off.
Thank you so much for being here. Commissioners, questions? Commissioner Newland.
Thank you, Chair Footer, and thank you, Chief Taylor, for joining us tonight. I believe Teresa connected us via email, but I just had one question for you that I've been getting from some community members about the, I don't even know what to call them, the like kind of public safety structures that have popped up around campus, and just wondering if you could provide some more information as to kind of like how those will be operated and staffed, and kind of like what the future looks like for
Oh yeah,
those structures.
absolutely. Those are our Safety Path Initiative booths. What that is that's our attempt or opportunity to engage or prioritize visibility. Those booths is a total of 11 in all. They're strategically placed throughout the campus and around the community. They give us that firsthand view of what's going on. As you guys know, we have many of our resident halls throughout the communities. Many of our booths are aligned just that, as well as some of our administrative buildings. So again, it's based on historical information, information that we had, data in which we have with regards to saying that this is where it should be placed. So again, a lot of homework was put into it, and eventually we will come the new year. We will start staffing with our security going forward. Yes, they will be housed from 1,500 hours to 0700 hours overnight, daily. Monday through Friday, I'm sorry, Monday through Friday. And on Saturday and Sunday, we'll have some adjusted hours as well.
Great, thank you, Bill.
Commissioners, Commissioner Howard, did you? You're on mute.
Yep, I got it. Thank you for coming on, and congratulations on the new role. I'll say that with that I think this is one of the best named universities in America. Has nothing to do with my last name. Glad to have y'all as an active neighborhood and community partner. I know there have been some crime incidences in the area, and I want to know if y'all are getting the support you need from MPD, and is MPD doing its job to help you all get through some of those, the random, but you always want to make sure everybody's has everything you need to do your job, and let us know an ally in that effort.
Yes, yeah, I understand totally. Yes, MPD's been outstanding or great partner, I should say. As you know, they've been able to assist us upon request, and we use them in various capacities, of course. But again, they've been a great partner. We had an incident several weeks ago back, of course, the day before homecoming. MPD was outstanding. What we saw is that, quite frankly, in our response, you saw the months and months of preparation that was put into that. MPD just recently closed that case with the final arrest. And so that's all indicative of great work, great teamwork. I had the opportunity to speak with MPD's leadership, and they commended my team as well, whereas we were able to assist them with getting the ball rolling immediately as the incident transpired. But again, it was a great collaborative effort with regards to that instance. But on a daily basis, MPD, we see them often. Many of their assignments overlap our assignments. Many of their posts may overlap our posts. So we see them, and it's great teamwork, great teamwork.
Well, on an anecdotal personal note, as someone who's always lived where I'm going from the U Street area at night to my home, yes. I've gone through Howard University because it's made me feel safer on my walk home. So thank you for all you do in the community in that regard.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Commissioners, any other questions?
No, just thank you so much, Chief Taylor. We look forward to working with you. It's good to hear from you.
Yes, ma'am. Likewise. Thank you for having me.
Yes, welcome. Looking forward to working with you. All right, members of the public, if you have any questions for Chief Taylor, please raise your hand. All right, seeing none. Chief Taylor, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time tonight and look forward to seeing you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. Next, we'll hear from Eliza Rush. I'm so sorry, I always say your name incorrectly. Eliza, so I will bring you up. All right. Eliza Roche, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you guys hear me?
All right. Yes. You have 3 minutes, and I apologize. I'm going to be a little bit stricter with time just because we're now at almost 8:15. We haven't even gotten to official business. So you have 3 minutes.
No worries. I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible. Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for being here. If you don't know me, my name is Eliza Roche Robinson, and I am Councilmember Nadeau's Constituent Services Specialist. So please reach out to me or us if you have any concerns. So first off, I'm going to talk about ERAP. So as you guys know, the reopening of the Emergency Rental Assistance Program last month was very concerning, with residents waiting for hours in the cold and the phone hotline system completely collapsing. This dignified service to residents experiencing housing instability should be a basic expectation, and DHS should apologize for this failure and lay out how they will prevent this from happening again. Next is the DHCD oversight hearing. So right now, the Department of Housing and Community Development is not fully using the resources we have to create housing and support first-time home buyers. Millions of dollars for affordable housing and home ownership programs are being left unused. After the recent oversight hearing, there's less clarity about DHCD's operations, and this level of dysfunction cannot continue if we are serious about expanding safe and affordable housing for every district resident. Next is ranked choice voting. So the council member was encouraged by updates from the Board of Elections before Thanksgiving on their outreach and education plan for ranked choice voting. Councilmember Nadeau and Councilmember Henderson secured funding in this year's budget for a full implementation of ranked choice voting in the 2026 elections. Woohoo! Next is the National Guard. So last month's court ruling affirmed what DC residents have already known for a long time, which is the federal occupation of the district is unlawful and unjust. This is a significant victory for democracy and for our residents who deserve full self-governance. The council member thanks the Attorney General for his leadership in securing this outcome. And regarding the shooting of the two West Virginia National Guard members in Farragut Square, the council member sends her heartfelt condolences to them and their families. Next is the House vote. So last month, the U.S. House voted to repeal DC's policing reforms and reinstate cash bail. These bills would make DC less safe by allowing dangerous individuals with financial means to go free while keeping low income but less dangerous residents in jail despite being presumed innocent. We are hopeful that the Senate will not advance these bills because this moment reinforces the need for DC's full statehood. And lastly is our utility fair. So Councilmember Nadeau's office will be having a utility fair this upcoming Monday, December 8th from 12 to 3 p.m. at Mount Pleasant Library. Staff from PEPCO, Department of Energy and Environment, and the Office of the People's Council will be available to answer any of your questions. So please bring your bills. You can also register on our website if you are unable to make it, and we can follow up with you. If you guys have any questions about anything that I talked about or just anything else, please let me know. And thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions? All righty. Members of the public, any questions for Councilmember Nadeau's office? Please raise your hand.
Hi, just a
Commissioner
quick
Hawker. Mhm.
question. Do we have anything on the books for the DHCD oversight, or is this Councilmember Nadeau's expression of interest for additional oversight? Eliza, are you there?
Eliza,
Oh, I'm so sorry. Can you please repeat that for me?
Sure. So is there going to be a scheduled hearing for DHCD with a particular topic, or is this more Councilmember Nadeau's expression of interest that there be another oversight hearing?
So I'm not sure if there's going to be another oversight hearing, but I can definitely look into that for you and follow up.
Thank you very much, because it's of great concern.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes, thank you, Eliza. Another question on ERAP. Uh, what is DHS's a determination or assessment of why such a huge backlog of cases? Like, what are they saying?
That is a great question. What we've been hearing is that they're saying that they were unprepared, and it was unprecedented for them, which, sounds kind of crazy, because they should have been planning for this for some
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
But, that's kind of what we're hearing from them, and we're hoping that they're going to continue to schedule appointments for people that really need this program. So we are still working with constituents right now who are reaching out to us and seeing if we can, get some appointments for them. But that's mainly what we're hearing from DHS.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
All right. Thank you so much, Eliza. Appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And I don't see the Moker's representative from the Moker's office. If you are here, please raise your hand. All right, we will move on. Commissioners, any announcements? I have two quick ones. One, the last time we met, we had our first Casey Lewis community meeting last night. We had our second one. It's going pretty well. We have done a pretty good job of making sure that there are a lot of community members that have participated. Last night, I think we had about 30 people there, and there's a survey that went around, and in the 2 weeks that the survey was open, we received 90 responses. And so this week they are going to make some final decisions on part of the entire project, which is around the playground, because Seton Swing Space is going in there. So we are going to have a third one in the new year that will go over the remaining portion of the project. If people have questions about it, please feel free to reach out to me. If you want to come to the meeting, please let me know. I'm happy to share the information about it. The second thing is I've been hearing from a number of Georgia Avenue small business owners, and they want to have a meeting and an opportunity to discuss ways that the ANC could potentially be supportive of small businesses, particularly Black-owned businesses on Georgia Avenue. And so you all should have received the email correspondence that I've been having with the owner of Sankofa. And so I proposed a couple of dates. She did write back that you all should, or on that email, saying that January 21st seems to be the preferred date. And so if you guys could also take a look at your calendars, respond to the email, and let me know if that also works for you all. Just as a note, if we get more than 4 commissioners in attendance, we'll have to do a public notice, which is not a problem at all. It's just a administrative thing that I want to make sure that we keep an eye on. So if you guys can please let me know by the end of this week, that would be great, because I'll have to do some paperwork in order to get some space at that housing authority, DFAH. I'm sorry, I'm getting the acronym all wrong. Commissioner Howard.
Thank you. Just want to flag, I know this email went around, but for those in the community here, the Office of the ANC is reorganizing how information is presented to residents through the websites, so that there's more of an official branding, a consistency in the official branding and placement of publicly accessible records and documents, contact information for commissioners, details about upcoming meetings. Every ANC has its own website. So, and we jumped at the chance to be part of this effort and wanted to be among the first, and we were chosen to be the first. And so ANC 1E is kind of leading the way in putting together feedback and implementation on websites that are user friendly. This is the first round, and there will be other rounds for public input as well. For commissioners, I asked for an extension to December 8th to provide additional feedback. I'm going to send my thoughts around for everyone to kind of see there. I and so that is a time that's coming in email. But just wanted to say I'm pretty excited that ANC 1E is going to be among the first.
Nice. Thank you. Commissioner Brown.
Yes, two things. One, Commissioner or Chair Footer, can you please share with the community a little bit more about the business roundtable, the purpose of it, and whether, it's open to other residents and businesses? You were talking about the email, which we have, but not sure if the community knows what we're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and this is the beginning, early stages. Sankofa has been coordinating with a number of businesses, so absolutely would love to open it up if others want to come. But the purpose of the meeting is to really provide a space for some of the small businesses to be able to express some of their concerns, some of their insights and experiences that they've been having with operating a small business on Georgia Avenue, and for us to brainstorm how the ANC can be a partner in trying to support and understand ways to support the small business community on Georgia Avenue. And so we will absolutely send more information out. We'll put it out on the website as we get closer. But right now it's really in the kind of administrative pieces. But yes, it's open to people who want to come. Sounds like from what Sankofa's organized, there are 10 people that she's already got ready to come to that meeting. And the room that we'll have, you guys have all been in, it's where we had our in-person ANC meetings. And so it has a large um, capacity. So for members of the public that are here, if you're interested in participating, if you are a small business and want to share some of your thoughts and be part of this conversation, please keep an eye on our website, particularly in the new year. Again, tentatively, we're looking at January 21st. So it'll be towards the end of January, but more information to come.
Thank you, Chair Footer. And just one announcement from me. So I went to DDOT's Ward 1 public workshop on the strategic bikeway plan, and the goal is to support a development of a safe, connected, comfortable bike network. And so they have solicited a process to solicit feedback from the community, particularly those that are cyclists traversing across the ward and other parts of the city. I'll include their plan in the chat, something that came up that was noteworthy to mention to this group and to the impacted ANC is that there's a lot of support for residents to extend the Kenyon Street bike lane to 16th Street, which this commission has supported for a long time. So just wanted to share that update. Thank you. And I'll include that information in the chat.
Thank you very much. Any other announcements, commissioners? Commissioner Newland.
Yeah, just briefly, sorry, I forgot to mention it, but for folks who are not on the George Avenue Thrive listserv, they're doing their next neighborhood cleanup is going to be this Saturday, December 6th at 11 a.m. It's going to be at the intersection of Newton and Georgia Avenue. Again, this Saturday, December 6th, intersection of Newton, Georgia Avenue, 11 a.m. It is sponsored by Yoga Heights. So if you come out and join, sounds like they have coffee and even free yoga class passes. So it's a nice perk, but hope to see folks there.
Awesome. Thank you. Members of the community, if you have any announcements, please raise your hand and I will call on you in the order that we receive it. All right. Not seeing anyone raise their hand, we will move on. So now we will move to official business. The committee excuse me. The committee chairs will begin by providing a brief update of their committee activities over the past month. Then they will walk through each item of business and have 5 minutes per item to present. They'll take questions from commissioners and audience members until a motion is proposed. And we will start with Zoning and Economic Development Committee. And Mr. Michael Ray, I will bring you up. All right. Mr. Ray, can you hear us?
You can, or I can, sorry.
Great.
The
Please.
committee did meet this month. Actually, I was going to share my screen, and I'm not sure that this way of having me in is going to let me do that. Unless,
Oh, I can promote you more. I have the document that you sent in earlier, if that's what
yeah,
you wanted to
it's not
share.
so much the document as I was going to show the plans just to make it a little
Okay.
easier.
Yeah, let me.
So we had a meeting, and we do have. Hello again.
Hello
Sorry.
again.
Started talking while you were actually doing that. We did have a meeting, and so there was one case, and then there was one discussion of the resolution that you're going to discuss later on about the bottle bill. So I will leave the bottle bill stuff to you. I may actually need to drop off after we discuss this case, but I am going to share my screen so that you can see. I don't know why I'm getting looks like I'm getting an error. You still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, give me one more chance here. Share. Okay, I'm not going to be able to share, so forget about that.
Do you want me, let me try to
Uh,
make you a co-host and see if that changes it for you.
I don't think it's going to. No, I think it's a
No.
setting on my actual machine. So just
Got it.
I don't normally use my personal Mac for my meetings. I use my work machine, so I'm a little more used to that one. Sorry about that. Can you remind folks if you're looking at the agenda? Yeah, there we go. Now that will help because we can see the sorry, I'm like all discombobulated here. The case was at 3125 Water Street. Christina is the owner of that property. She and her family, she lives there now, and her family they're working on doing an expansion. So they are going to turn a single family home into it was remain one large unit on in the upper unit for the upper floors, and then the basement will be converted into a smaller apartment with the intent that she'll live upstairs and then rent out the apartment. It would include a small addition off the back of the property and then a third story, which is all pretty normal. In fact, it's pretty much by right, except that the lot is very, very small and was already over the lot occupancy. So one of the areas of relief is for lot occupancy. But nothing in a way that it wasn't already kind of before. It's not much of a change in that regard. And then the other area is, and this one is interesting. It's a rooftop element request because in order to create a door on the front of the building that would lead directly into the apartment, she was proposing to reduce the size of the front porch, and then that way the front door would be sort of exposed to the air as opposed to being underneath the porch. I will say that I had an opportunity this morning to check on whether or not OP had given its opinion on all of this, and they have actually come back and said they don't like the porch. So, giving you a heads up that the committee had no issue with it. The porch, it's still the porch. The porch is still there. It's just a little bit smaller than what was there. And I was looking at some of the properties along. This is on Warder, but I was looking at some of them around the corner from my house on Sherman, and that size porch, where instead of having it cover all three windows, in a normal front-facing facade, it covers two of the windows and then it leaves one exposed. Like every house on Sherman looks exactly like that. So it's not something you haven't seen in the neighborhood. But because the Office of Planning is causing an issue about this, and I don't know if Christina is on here or she's even become completely aware of it because it just happened. They'll probably need to address this. And so this could require a change on her part, or she may go to the meeting and sort of negotiate with the board and the Office of Planning and see where this falls. But right now, the Office of Planning is in denial, and that is going to cause, some further need. Anyway, sorry to go off the track. The committee reviewed all of this and honestly we had no issues with it, and they voted to support moving forward with with that understanding. So rather than belabor this, I'll just ask if there are any questions.
Can I just ask to that point that they announced that they're going to reject it? Are they out like rejecting the whole thing? And so
No, they're
we should
only
table
so yeah,
this?
that's a good point. That's a good point. The Office of Planning does a point by point analysis and review, and so they accepted the lot occupancy requirements. They rejected not, I don't say it wasn't outright. They left a caveat. They said we're rejecting it because of a lack of information. Now, and again, I'm not an expert here. It could be that they would want to see simply more evidence presented at the hearing in order to overcome that objection. But I don't know. They might outright. They did say that they thought the design was not in keeping with the other homes on Water Street. That smaller, instead of having it expand across the entire front porch. So it's just that line item about the front porch element.
Gotcha. Commissioner Brown.
Yes, hi, thank you, Michael. And for clarity, this is in my single member district, right?
I meant to look that up. 3125. I'm not 100% certain. If I
Because
see
it
here.
says '01, which is Brad. I think it's mine.
Oh, did
And
I?
we even I
When
had
you
talked
say
about,
when you say it says, are you looking at the case?
I'm
Or are you?
sorry, the agenda.
Oh, that I don't know.
That
I
could have been
didn't
my
put it on the
fault.
agenda.
I think it's yours.
Commissioner
Yeah, it
Brown, can you go
is.
on to
It is Commissioner
It's
Brown's.
openanc.com?
the
Okay.
east
I already
side of
looked.
Water Street. It's yeah, that's your side. I have the agenda.
Yeah, and I think Michael, you and I had talked about this case earlier. I just wanted
Yeah.
to say for the record that I support it.
Okay, thank you.
I
Thank you.
stand with the committee.
Yeah, that's right. You were there. And I
Mhm.
honestly, when Brad and I'll admit that when Brad and I discussed it to put it on the agenda, I was in Puerto Rico and was probably not in the right frame of mind to be answering questions. But,
Christina's
nor
here.
should you be.
Christina is here.
thank you, Commissioner. Um, any.
Christina's here.
Oh, good.
I'm
Actually,
sorry.
I would bring Christina up. I know we don't always do that, but given like what I said about the Office of Planning, I am kind of curious as to if she has a plan of action or not.
Hey, Christina, you should be able to speak now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Sorry, I'm driving right now, so if there's a lot of background, I apologize. Yeah, so they reached out to me and they seem to want some more specificity on the drawings. I'm working on getting that back to them.
Okay.
So hopefully we can get that resolved in time.
Yeah. I mean, because they obviously they can change their opinion and submit another. Although your hearing date, I believe, is on the 10th, so they may need a waiver. I mean, I don't want to get into all the details here, but yeah, I was hopeful that they left an opening here, and if they did, then you may be able to overcome their objection to that line item.
I'm hoping so.
No. Okay. As I said, the committee didn't have a problem with it. Our recommendation to the full ANC is there's no reason to have an issue with this. I personally have always supported keeping the porches because I think it does create a different sense of community when people can be outside talking to their neighbors, meeting. So I liked the fact that Christina and her family were keeping that element. I've seen some around the neighborhood where they've actually somehow gotten away with removing it, and I would have probably been a little more hesitant in that case. But it's just smaller. It's not gone. So with
All
that,
right.
unless anyone has any other questions, Commissioner Footer, I would say you can ask the community.
Commissioners, any other questions? All right. Members of the community, if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hands. All right. Seeing none, there are no other questions. I'll now accept a motion to support the recommendation from the committee.
I make a motion with. Go
Mhm.
ahead.
Go for it.
I make a motion with unanimous consent that we adopt the report as written.
Is there any dissent?
Second.
Don't need to second it. Don't need to second it. Is there any dissent? Hearing none, the motion passes and it is approved. Thank you very much, Michael.
Yeah, like I said, I am gonna. We are a little later than I was hoping, but so I'm gonna drop off. But good luck, everyone.
Thank you. All right.
Isn't there another, he has another
Yeah, it's mine. I'm going to do it.
resolution? Oh, okay.
All right. So, I sent this around to everybody last week, asked for people to provide any feedback if they had any. So this shouldn't be new to everybody. So I am going to move a little quickly on this. If you have questions, like please bring it up then. But essentially, the background on this is, well, let me actually stop. This is a resolution addressing the bottle bill, which is known as the bottle bill. And the resolution is written, this actually came to fruition as we were getting some feedback, specifically concerns from community members. And so we put together a resolution outlining some of the details. The hope by doing that was to stimulate a conversation on what outstanding questions we had around the bottle bill. And then I put all those things together. I sent it around to everybody, asking if they had any edits, additional questions, things of that nature. And then we had a call with Council Member Nadeau's office. Ended up having two because we had just such a really great conversation in this question. She was answering a lot of those questions. So this is the outcome of a rich conversation that we had at the committee level, follow-up feedback that we received from members of the community, and then two conversations that we had with the council member's office. So with that, we go through kind of the beginning background on it about how many containers are actually sold in the district. That would kind of help stimulate the size of this issue, talking about some of the impacts of not recycling, specifically around litter, which is talking about like roughly 5 to 10%, but ends up being one of the largest pieces of trash contributing to litter in the Anacostia River. As a result of a lot of research and work, Councilmember Nadeau's office submitted this or released this bill with 11 co-sponsors. The goal of the legislation is to reduce litter and pollution, increase beverage container recycling, create local recycling and logistics jobs, and create BC's first jurisdiction with 2 decades to implement a new bottle bill. So basically, the first ones to do it in a long time. The way that it works is basically this is the supply chain of the actual way that the money would exchange hands. Essentially, distributors, think of soda distributors, things of that nature, would actually charge retailers, think grocery stores, restaurants, things of that nature, the 10-cent deposit as for each beverage that the retailer is purchasing. The retailers then charge the consumer, so effectively us, DC residents, that the same 10-cent deposit. So they're getting their deposit back from consumers. And then consumers return the empty containers to a designated redemption partner. It could be a grocery store, it could be a specific location that has a drop-in kind of machine. And then they receive their 10 cents back based on returning it back. And then the redemption partner will then, they will aggregate all the things that they had received once consumers had actually sent them back. And then they will go to this fund and say, here are all the bottles that we had brought back. Please, pay us back out of the fund. So in a nutshell, that's the supply chain of it. The bill proposes that the program costs would be accumulated through fees to the distributors, and it would also come from any of the non-redeemed funding. So with that, and this is back of the envelope math based on some of the projections that they had in the bill. But if there is roughly 670 million beverage containers sold each year in the district, and therefore with 10 cents a pop, looking at $61 million per year for the first 5 years because they're assuming about an 85%. Well, that's basically that. And then with the redemption rate at about 85%, that's the target in the first 5 years. That means that 51 million of that 61 million would be given back to consumers. An important note in the legislation is that it has a mechanism to try and make sure that the fee that's associated with it is sizable enough that is actually incentivizing people to actually redeem and recycle. And so every 5 years, an assessment is done in order to see if they need to increase the fee. It's right now the law is written that it's a 5 cent fee if the previous 2 years don't meet their targets. So what that means is that in year 5, they will do an assessment. And if in year 3 and 4, they do not hit that, this should be 85, my apologies, 85%, then that will trigger a 5 cent increase and it will become, instead of a 10 cent, it'll become a 15 cent. The proposed legislation does provide an exemption for restaurants that are selling beverages on site and they're being consumed on site. Um, and there were still a lot of outstanding questions. Some of the questions that we heard from members of the community were around specifically from the restaurant, bar, and kind of event venue spaces were paying deposits up front to distributors when purchasing beverages in bulk, which this is absolutely true. So essentially, even though they're exempt from being a organization that would receive the like redeemed thing, a consumer is going to that machine and they're putting in their bottle in order to get their 10 cents back. The restaurant, bars, and event spaces are still going to be responsible for paying the distributors that 10 cents. And so that seems to be a bit of a gap. Some additional things: managing logistical challenges related to takeout and delivery, implementing operational system processes to collect, separate, and store and return the containers to the correct distributors, purchasing a new bin and scheduling additional container pickup on top of the regularly scheduled curbside trash. There have been a number of successful models over time, two that I cited in here, Oregon and New York. Residents have expressed some concern around incentivizing people to go around and go like pick through other people's trash in order to try and collect sizable amount of bottles to turn in. That's something that we see a lot in New York. And then the Committee on Business and Economic Development has already had a hearing on this subject, and they're right now there's supposed to be a concurrent review by the Committee of Transportation and Environment. That seems to be changing a bit before it goes into markup, but that's still out for discussion. And then we move into the resolved. So essentially, we want to recognize that like this is a great effort to try and tackle a important environmental issue, and so we're not outright saying that we endorse this entire bill, but we do applaud this effort, and the purpose of this resolution is to start collecting feedback and getting it to the committee as they're going into markup. I want to be very clear that Councilmember Nadeau's office is extremely receptive to all of the feedback that people have and want to make sure that they are tweaking it in the appropriate way that's going to do a healthy balance between meeting the goals of impacting our environment in a positive way and not overburdening the business community, particularly our small businesses. And so some of the recommendations that we have here, these first Six are ones that we had reviewed in its first iteration, so I'm not going to go through them again. But the ones that I added based on feedback and conversations with the council member's office is to establish a statutory cap on the potential fee increases triggered by unmet redemption targets. So this is getting back to that the 5-year piece. Sorry, I'm recognizing I need to do this. Then the bill already does this. They're just trying to make it clear that we're kind of in support of making sure that there is a unique scannable code for the district and that we're not relying on this UPC code. Relying on the UPC code would basically make it very difficult to differentiate between what was coming from Maryland and Virginia. And so having something from DC is required in order to mitigate fraud. But knowing that that's going to impose a pretty large administrative burden on some of our smaller breweries and wineries. One of the things that we're suggesting or we request is that we use direct funds from the district recycling fund to support those small breweries and groceries to mitigate administrative burden. There was an article that came out in the 51st a couple of weeks ago that estimated that it would be about $300,000 to do this. And so that is just an important fact. And then basically the last piece here is to recommend that small breweries and wineries should be exempt from that any administrative fees that the distributors are going to be responsible for doing to cover costs in the fund and all that kind of stuff. So it was a lot, so I'm going to stop talking for a minute. Questions?
Well done, Brian. Thank you for all the hard work here.
Thank you. Commissioner Jacobson, I see your hand is up, but I don't see you.
I think he went outside to get internet connection. That's what his signal
Oh,
said.
gotcha.
Chairman
Oh, I
Phil.
see. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Any other questions before I move to members of the public? All right. Members of the public, if you have any questions with respect to the resolution regarding the bottle bill, please raise your hand. Jean. All right, Jean, you should be able to speak.
I just want to thank you for all your hard work on this. I know you've spent a great amount of time, and I appreciate ANC 1E spending all the time they did on this. That's all.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. If there are no other questions, then I'll now accept a motion to support the resolution on the Recycling Refund and Litter Reduction Amendment Act of 2025.
I move by unanimous consent to adopt the resolution on recycling refund and litter reduction amendment act of 2025.
Thank you very much. Is there any dissent? Great. Hearing none, motion passes and the resolution is adopted. All right, I'm going to go back to the agenda. Thank you all for that. Just a quick note. I know that Mr. Ray had to leave. The next meeting of the Zoning and Economic Development Committee is going to be in January 14th. All of the committees have the discretion to determine if they are going to meet in December. And the Zoning and Economic Development Committee is not going to be meeting in December. So the next meeting will be January 14th. All right, next I will turn it over to Commissioner Jacobson.
Thank you, Chair Footer. Apologies if there's background noise. I had to go on a work conference very last minute, and so this is not ideal to be doing this, but glad to be here. The ANC 1E Transportation and Public Space Committee met, I think it was last week at this point, to gather our feedback on what we wanted to provide or to talk with DDOT about for the best priority project on crosstown Columbia Heights. So we had some good discussion there. There's a resolution that's been drafted that we'll want to discuss, and thank you, Commissioner Brown, for working on that. And then the other note is we will be meeting in January, and make sure we invite DPW to that meeting. Is the wind really bad, by the way?
Yeah, I think we're having a little bit of a hard time hearing you, but I believe you were just mentioning that during the next meeting, you'll invite DDOT and it sounded like DPW based on the conversation that we had earlier in the presentations.
Yes, that's correct. And I'll let Commissioner Brown present on this resolution since she wrote it.
Great. Commissioner Brown?
Thank you, Commissioner Jacobson and Chair Footer. So this is a resolution supporting DDOT's Crosstown Bus Priority Project with curbside bus lane option 1. Just for background for the community and any commissioners who may be new to this. DDOT released its Crosstown bus priority plan. Recently had an open house a few weeks ago and allowed the community to review proposed design plans and options for public comment. And so this resolution will serve as great, the ANC providing great weight on this and sharing what it believes is the best design option for ANC 1E. And I know that there are a few ANCs that are impacted, primarily Columbia Heights, when ANC 1E was ANC 1A and joined commissioners in Columbia Heights. We weighed in on this several times and worked with DDOT collaboratively on many different proposals that are connected to the crosstown plan, multimodal plan. The project goals are to reduce the bus travel time and improve reliability, evaluate bus priority project along 14th Street, and identify other areas for improvement and other opportunities to advance the Move DC strategic plan forward. Included in this plan, DDOT studied the impacted area for the crosstown plan, which is for this purpose of this ANC primarily Irving Street and Columbia Road through heading through west up to west of our ward. So the current needs assessment really outlines some of the safety concerns, but also delays in bus speed because of congestion and just and other factors that are related to the how the streets are currently constructed and the existing infrastructure there. So we in this SMD, and I'm talking about representing ANC 1E04 is this particular service area cuts through my single member district and some of Commissioner Hawker's. The DDOT and this commission had worked collaboratively on some traffic calming measures in light of the bus plan coming. So we believe that the proposals that have been shared with us that DDOT developed, and there's 3 of them, really highlight the fact that the community has the flexibility to determine what it would like based on the various design options, but also address some of the community specific challenges. So I'm just going to share from our experience, and I live on the 400 block of Irving Street, and I have some neighbors who are joined here today to share their experiences as well as those on Columbia Road. because there's very limited traffic calming approaches for us. But DDOT did work very diligently to address some of that through the work of the Vision Zero team. We held a walkthrough with DDOT director and the Vision Zero team. And I've just outlined what some of those traffic calming measures here in the what's whereas section that Chair Footer is pointing to. And thank you for the hard work there from community members in DDOT. One of them is a traffic calming measure that's to the right-hand side of Irving Street to reduce the speed and number of accidents that happened, particularly at the intersection of Irving Street and Park Place. So we recognize that the option one slash scenario one option provides a curbside lane for the full length of the ANC corridors for both Irving Street and Columbia Road, which will operate from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on the weekdays. We believe that this will reduce speed, particularly during those off-peak hours when ridership tends to be down and people speed. And there's some crash data that's included in the slide. There's also a DDOT representative that's been working with us closely on the Crosstown bus priority plan. He presented at the Transportation Committee meeting. He's available for any questions. But I just wanted to acknowledge the hard work of this committee, previous work of the commission and the committee. I'm sorry, the community members. And thank you so much, Commissioner Jacobson, for your collaboration on this resolution and for hearing us out. At the end of the resolution, I do want to share this, especially while DDOT is here. This commission has really been praised for its collaborative work with DDOT. So while it's going through its design process, and I'm hoping that DDOT would grant our commission this as well as our brethren ANCs to weigh in on the phase in design process and have the opportunity to offer and solicit community feedback. Particularly on some of the design treatments that are provided in the slideshow and some of the project toolbox offerings. Many of the community members that we've spoken to have offered up very specific traffic calming measures, and we were able to get a lot of that accomplished through the Water Street, Park Place, and Kenyon Street bike lanes in particular, and some of the proposals that have come through DDOT on the Crosstown plan. So I just wanted to share that with DDOT, with the commission and the community, and I offer up any feedback and questions from the commission.
Commissioner Hawker.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown and Commissioner Jacobson, for all the effort both of you have put into discussing this issue with me and communicating with me. And I just wanted to take a moment to just briefly discuss a couple of, I guess you could call them traffic calming measures or other considerations as part of how we came to land on this option as something that would work well for our community. Along the Irving Street corridor in particular, there has been a history of not being able to park on the right-hand side anyway. And what we're doing is essentially going back to the way that things were by putting in that curbside lane. I also wanted to share my personal experience living on the 700 block. Most of, and I think this is just statistical luck, most of the constituents that live along this Irving Street corridor have their handicap space permits on the left-hand side, and there aren't nearly as many on the right-hand side. And that is why I came to support having the curbside bus lane on the right-hand side of Irving so that we could preserve those spaces for the residents who live there and need the left-hand reserved parking permits for handicapped. It just happened to work out that way statistically. I don't know how long that'll last, or if we'll hit problems in the future, but I just wanted to share that preserving the left side of parking with this option seemed like it would be a pretty good compromise between parking and traffic calming and reserved space for public transportation. So I wanted to add just that little bit of context on how the single member representatives that are affected by this crosstown bus plan sort of came to option one versus option two.
Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Grant.
I just also wanted to comment and thank Commissioner Brown and Jacobson for their work on this. I especially appreciate the attention to evidence-based information in the resolution that leads to the selection of option one. I think that's so important. The DDOT, the DDOT data and study combined with tangible community engagement, I think is really important to cite in this kind of work. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. Well done.
Commissioners, any other questions? All right, members of the public, any comments or questions with respect to the resolution? Daniel, right, Daniel, you should be able to speak.
Hey everyone, thanks for people's time and help with this. I'm just jumping in because I have been pretty kind of actively polling Irving and Columbia neighbors just to hear whatever uh, qualitative data I can gather. And I've heard a mix, funny enough, I heard lots of folks in favor of scenario three because I think people have experienced that's essentially what the Irving 400 to 700 block has now, and people have loved the traffic calming um, effect of the dedicated parking on both sides around the clock. However, I think lots of people want to see a bus priority lane that's good for people that live, beyond our blocks. But uh, there is a way that the parking overnight adds to some traffic, a little bit of traffic calming outside of peak hours. And so people kind of find that scenario where the bus lane is on the curbside and has overnight parking as sort of a bit of a compromise. Um, Additionally, I appreciate commissioners for kind of putting in a little language in the resolution just that says we'd love to have an active conversation with DDOT about all of the possible traffic calming measures as kind of the design rolls out, because we've had, the resolution says we've had multiple safety walks, and be particularly for Irving and Columbia on the 500, 600 block. It's such a long stretch, and there really is a traffic safety issue with speed. And so, whatever creative ways we can make it a safer corridor, that'll be a win-win. Thanks again for everyone's work. Appreciate what's happening here.
Your members of the public. You want to, Dan Joseph, you should be able to talk now.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, just echoing a lot of what was just said, I'm a resident of the 400 block of Irving Street and was here in the older traffic configuration, and definitely a huge difference in how safe the street feels, and also um, the change in statistics or with crashes definitely felt that as well. So looking forward to thank you for your support of this current resolution with at least the compromise traffic calming option, while also providing improve bus service. And yes, please push DDOT on exploring how to make sure that we don't backslide on those safety increases. Thank you.
Thank you. And Adam Hunter.
Good evening, commissioners. Just also a resident of a 400 block of Irving Street, and want to echo the appreciation for the hard work that's gone into what I think is a very balanced proposal. As a resident here for nearly 5 years, I can echo Dan, and having experienced the late night being woken up by the accidents at the end of the block, with the 2 lanes of traffic and people treating it like a speedway, and the value of the calming measures of the past couple of years cannot be understated. And I do find that this resolution and this option one, as detailed by DDOT's planners, does strike an important balance, and does maintain the critical calming measures that we've seen so effective in the past couple of years. So appreciate that work, and agree to want to stay vigilant and make sure that that can be maintained. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Other comments, members of the public? Right. I do just want to mention, where's the question and answer? So Diane Chambers wrote in the comments that unfortunately I have to drop off of the call as I have an early flight in the morning. My husband and I support Commissioner Brown's curbside option resolution for the Crosstown Bus Priority Project. We support the dedicated bus lane from 7 to 7 for bus efficiency. We also support the one middle lane for traffic, and hopefully that will slow people down who tend to drive too fast. We also like the neighbors. We also like that neighbors will be able to park after 7 p.m. and close to their homes. We are happy to support this resolution, and I hope this comment is useful in bringing it to fruition. So just wanted to share that additional piece. All right. If there are no additional comments, I'll now accept a motion to adopt the resolution supporting the DDOT's Crosstown Bus Priority Project with curbside bus lane option. Do we want to put option one? Is this a duplicative option in the title?
Yes, it is. You can remove that. Thanks.
And technically, isn't this called the Columbia Heights Crosstown
It is.
Bus?
I hate that. I mean, it crosses multiple ANCs, and they always call it the Crosstown Bus Priority Project. I mean, since it's might be included in the NOI, like we might want to call it Columbia Heights.
And
I
just so
hate
they
that
know
it
which
just
project
sounds
we're
like we're
talking about, right?
weighing on something that isn't even in our ANC area.
Fair enough. It's Columbia Heights.
Yeah,
Crosstown
and
Bus
while
Priority
Brian
Project.
is making those edits, I just wanted to thank members of the community for their comments. DDOT, who's currently on, who said that, Kevin, thank you so much for being here in case people had any questions, and definitely appreciate the comments expressing the balanced approach that this provides. And I really hope that DDOT can just allow us to weigh in on the specific design options before it becomes final, and allow the Transportation and Public Safety Committee to serve as a mechanism to provide additional comments before it goes to the NOI process.
All right, I'll now accept that motion.
Yep, I move to approve this resolution.
I second the
It's
motion.
unanimous. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
There's
shoot.
been a motion.
No.
It's been seconded, and now all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying nay. Any abstentions? All right, with 7 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions, the motion passes and the resolution is adopted.
going to consider Commissioner Hawker an ally in my opposition to neighbors control.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Ah.
All right. I'm going to bring the agenda back up. That is not what I meant to do. There we go. All right. I know Commissioner Jacobson had already mentioned that they're meeting in January 7th. So Commissioner Jacobson, are you anything else with respect to your committee report?
No, thank you for letting me speak, and thanks to Commissioner Brown for collaborating with me on this.
Awesome. All right, Commissioner Newland, over to you.
We did not have a meeting this month, so nothing to report from the Public Safety and Engagement Committee, and I will defer to you on the grant application. If there's,
Perfect.
yeah.
Thank you. So, Common Good City Farm is an amazing community partner in LaDroit Park, and they reached out in order to get some grant dollars and support for their holiday fest, which is on December 13th. I submitted the materials over to the OANC, and they reviewed it. And the original request was asking for 1,500, and the OANC rejected $95 for a total of $1,405 of permissible expenditures. And so, if you're not familiar with them, they are just such a spectacular community organization that does a lot of work with underprivileged kids, teaching them about how to actually like work the dirt and nutrition and all that kind of stuff. And they have a couple of community plots. It's just they're phenomenal. They've been there for a very long time, and so this is a great opportunity for us to support them. They did go to ANC 1B to also get some support. We have lifted our limits on how much grant dollars we can give to an individual. ANC 1B has not lifted theirs. They have a limit. And so we are providing more support than some of our sister commissions, which I think I'm personally very proud that we do that, because there's no reason that that money should sit in our account. It's the people's money. But with that, I will take any questions. All right. If there are no questions, and members of the public, if you have any questions, I see Brittany. Brittany. All right. Brittany, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Great. Yes.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I've never heard of them. Are they a 503c? Like, can individuals donate? Because if you sent us that information, I bet we could get them some more money.
Ooh, I don't know their exact tax filing status. I imagine that they are a 501(c)(3). They're definitely a nonprofit. I just don't know what specific citation they have. But I'd be happy to provide more information and provide people the opportunity to donate and support them. They're just phenomenal. And if you've never been over there, highly recommend popping in. I don't know their hours off the top of my head, but they're just great. But Brittany, we'll put it on our. Actually, let me. Can I ask somebody really quickly? Would you just Google Common Good City Farm and just put the link in the chat so we can share it with everybody? Thank you. Brittany, any other questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions from community members? All right. Hearing none, I'll now accept a motion to adopt the grant application for Common Good City Farms Holiday Fest in the amount of $1,405.
I move by unanimous Unanimous consent to approve the grant application for Common Good City Farms Holiday Fest for 1405.
Thank you very much. Is there any dissent? Hearing none, the motion passes and the resolution is adopted. Thank you very much. And back over to you, Commissioner Newland.
Yeah, just lastly, that our next meeting is going to be Monday, January 12th, 2026 at 7 p.m. So look forward to everybody joining us.
Thank you very much. All right, now we will go to administrative business and the ANC 1E's calendar year 2025 annual report. And Commissioner Brown.
Yeah, so every year, this ANC send out an annual report as mandated by the city. And so this report will be submitted to the office of the ANC at the end of this week, and we'll share this out with the community as well. So we have here just ANC highlights that we've opened up, sharing some of the accomplishments of the year, particularly communications and community engagement, and then other highlights involving events. And then we also have just a list of resolutions, letters, just ANC official business that we present on and vote on matters during our regular general body meetings. And so this is what you see here, just a list of those public materials that we've passed. So I'm just asking for this ANC to vote in favor of it. If you see any edits that are needed, feel free to chime in or just put some in the doc. But I'm just going to hand it over to you, Chair Footer, to open it up for commissioners if they have any questions.
Any questions, commissioners?
Yeah, just scroll down just a little bit right under that last bullet. That's a note from me. You might just strike that out. And I know like Commissioner Grant and others, I worked on this stuff with, I just do what was in my SMD. And so I know like there's the Parkview power issue, the public safety, Parkview Rec Center, like we all did stuff on this. So I didn't know how to do that other than from my recollection. And then so y'all feel free to add in any of the things you may want, but I tried to write it as it wasn't just me.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Howard, for your additions and collaboration. A lot of these events, several commissioners attended and participated, so I think it's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Commissioner
All
Brown.
right.
This ain't easy.
Members of the public, any questions or comments with respect to the ANC's annual report? All right, hearing none, I'll now accept a motion to adopt the ANC 1E calendar year 2025 annual report.
I move with unanimous consent to adopt
Big.
the ANC 1E's calendar year 2025 annual report. And I hope I did it right.
I'm alone again.
You did. Great job. Thank you.
Yay, got one in.
Is there any dissent?
Well, with the motion, yes. But
Commissioner Howard, do you have dissent?
No.
All right, hearing no dissent, the motion passes and the report is adopted. All right. Yeah.
Commissioner, how do you want me to do this? Do you want me to just PDF it, send it, or you guys got it? All right.
Yeah, we got it. Because Commissioner Grant and I will have to sign it and then it's done. And
Thank
then
you.
Commissioner Grant will send it to the OANC.
And then
And
I'll
Commissioner
turn
Footer, go ahead,
Okay.
Brad.
I'll turn into social media graphics and stuff that we can promote throughout December.
And Commissioner Footer, before we close, can I ask the person who authored the recycling refund and litter reduction amendment resolution to please include the recipients?
I did.
Email
I put it in.
contact. Super. Oh, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
you're very welcome.
Wonderful. All right.
We have one more thing, so we're not done just yet.
Okay.
And I will. Commissioner Howard.
Yeah, share John.
Yeah, let me just.
Or I can do it.
This is that. That's not it.
You want me to do it?
I have it right here. I'm just.
Right.
Why is that not? There we go.
Okay. So this is just framing the result of August. We waited a few months to make sure that it did actually fix the problem. And so far, correct if I'm wrong, but knock on wood, no power outages. Daniel, that was ran the street for me, actually got like the full download of what they were doing and why, and so I just wanted to confirm that with Pepco and said thank you on behalf of the commission, and just wanted to get this out so the public knows kind of this issue's been resolved and how we resolved it, because I do think it's a really good case study of why ANCs exist. So the facts in there are,
sorry.
Yeah. So
I do want to just mention, so a press release like this doesn't necessarily need to be approved by the commission. We absolutely can, but if we wanted to turn this into more of like a resolution style or a letter that we want to send, that's something that the commission would need to approve. But if you wanted this to be more of like a press release, like that's just
I think
sharing information.
I think it's better suited because there's no official action really necessary. Like I think
Brad, can we turn this into a letter? Do you have any strong opposition to that?
it would be a letter to Pepco.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do want to be careful though, because like Pepco was not the great partner for the first like 3 months.
Yeah.
Maybe just a tweet. I mean, maybe
Yes.
send a tweet.
Also, the goal was this press release would go out, post on the website, and then I would post on social media.
Yeah, I don't think this requires the commission like this. We absolutely can. I'm not saying that we shouldn't, but if you want to withdraw this as something that you just want to do a press release, I think
my general preferred approach is to give everyone a few days to look at it, and once I get sign off on a majority of the commissioners, I send it out. So,
well, we're here. Why don't we?
Yeah.
On that case, then let's vote on it. It doesn't hurt to vote on it. I don't think it's necessary. But instead of waiting for you to get the majority, we can vote on it here.
So my general structure of these issues is to obviously the lead, and then always a quote from the chair, and then some more information, a quote from the author of the resolution. We did this with the ICE resolution and others. I'm going to try to start doing these more frequently because I think I want us to be able to share what we do on social media all around. And so, and then I want to try to tag these under each commissioner so you can pull up like your resolutions all together. So I'll get better at this next year, but it's essentially just saying where we started and really, really recognizing the residents, because all up and down Manor and Park Place and Warder, I think we at least 6 or 7 individual letters to the PSC in addition to the one I submitted as a resident, and then the one the commission submitted essentially seconding my original letter. All that sustained effort over really was starting beginning in April, ending in August, of just like consistent pressure. They not only get the transformer replaced, the street looks amazing out there. And it was not amazing before because they kept having to rip it up all the time. So residents on Manor are very happy. And I think largely we're all happy to have power consistently.
Commissioner Howard, just real quick, I wanted to let you know that these press releases work,
Okay.
and they make their way into the DC government, where DC government employees see the actions of the ANCs, and we're one of the only ANCs that consistently hits on like the setup like news feed and like intelligence feeds that the district uses. So I wanted to let you know that like the current strategy that you've been using works and it makes its way to the people who need to see it. And I just want to encourage you to continue this pattern because it's crazy that I'm like one of the people that has this responsibility, but it's also my ANC is the only one that pops up and it looks a little suspicious. But I just wanted to let you know that it does work, and it's something that I think we should encourage a lot of other ANCs to follow that same process. It's hitting the correct tags and channels. I just wanted to let you know.
Well, thank you. But I'm a firm philosophy in casework that people don't think the government's actually helpful until they learn that it can be. And good casework results get more good casework. So hopefully we're all busier as a result.
Yay, just what I wanted.
All right, I'll now accept a motion to adopt the press release as written.
I move to adopt this resolution or this statement, public statement.
I
Is there a second?
second the motion.
All right. There's a motion. It has been seconded. All those in favor of excuse me, approving the statement regarding Parkview Power fix marks major win for residents in ANC 1E, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm so sorry, Commissioner Brown and Newland. I may not have heard it. I apologize. I just want to make sure you guys had an opportunity.
Sorry, aye.
And any opposition? I guess that was presumptuous. I should have waited until the end to see if you guys didn't vote at all. My bad. And then any abstentions? All right. With 6 in favor, 0 opposed, and 0 abstentions, the motion passes and the statement is approved. Commissioner Howard, Godspeed. Thank you for doing this. Send away. I am not going to wherever you have this right now in
it's in the engagement folder.
Perfect. Thank you very much. All right. So with that, I'm going to come back to our agenda. And that is all of our official business. Having no other business before the commission, I'll now accept a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
There's
Second.
a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and it has been seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? With 6 in favor and 0 opposed and 0 abstentions, the motion passes and we are adjourned. Before we go, the next and final general meeting of this session of ANC 1E is scheduled for Wednesday, January 28th, 2026. And the Committee of the Whole is scheduled for Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. So that means we are not going to be meeting in December. That does not mean, however, for the public's knowledge, that the ANC is inaccessible. So please, if there are any issues, please continue to bring them to our awareness. We do have the authority and capability of having a special meeting if warranted. So please let us know if there are any issues that need to be addressed. Announcements and other information about ANC1E are available at anc1e.org. Please feel free to contact any commissioner with any questions. And with that, thank you very much for a productive evening, and we will talk soon.
All right, happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holiday, yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.